Hello everybody, and welcome to this week's Stephen and Walter Live. I'm not sure if Walter's alive or not. He's having a stomach cramp. So if he suddenly gets up in the middle of today's live, you want to get into the shot a little bit, you'll know why. We could do it live from the bathroom, but I don't think you'd want to see that. So who's here? Hi Wendy, hi Andy, hi Teresa, hi Donna. Hope everybody is doing okay today. We have several things to talk about. I'm in a weird mood today, but I know why. I've been in a lot of weird moods lately. I don't know what it is. But anyways, yeah. So we'll just wait here for a couple of seconds, see who else is joining us. Walter's contemplating the bathroom idea.
Well, right now I'm settling in a bit, so I don't know, it just hit me all of a sudden, so.
Oh. Well, you had the same stuff to eat today that I had.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't, of course, I did put a little extra poison in yours, so that could be it. Teresa says, sorry, Walter.
No, actually, I'm okay right this second. It's just that I have a problem every once in a while.
Yeah.
It just all of a sudden crops up.
Yeah, you're in the middle of a grocery store. You're doing your shopping, and then Walter goes, uh-oh. And, okay, drop everything. We've got to get home quick because Walter has to go someplace. Hi, Joan. Yeah, it's always a thrill when that happens. It's bad enough I have to put up with my mother and what she's doing these days. But anyways, well, let's get started. Speaking of my mother, it just wouldn't be a Stephen and Walter Live if I didn't talk to my mother. If you hear any squeaking in the background or whatever, I've got the two 3D printers working away here, although I have set this up for some noise reduction, so I don't know if you can hear it or not. We can. But anyway, so my mother. Well, hi Jeannie. Hi Cindy. Well, I haven't been called in the last week about her throwing up, so I guess that's a good thing. However, there was an announcement come out from the nursing home saying that the first floor, my mother's on the third floor, the first floor had a breakout of, what did they call it? I want to say esoteric, but it's not.
Gastro something.
Something. In other words, food poisoning.
Well, that's what you assume, or it's some sort of...
Well, I looked it up on the internet, and they basically said it's a form of food poisoning.
Well, that's really good.
Yeah, really good. So they've got the people on the first floor in one end of it or something all isolated. But it got me thinking, okay, so my mother was throwing up last week. I wonder if maybe she legitimately was throwing up because she had food poisoning. She was complaining about the food, but then she does on a regular basis anyway, so you never know. And you'd think they would check for that. I don't know. Hi, Judith. Hi, Teresa. I'm sewing too, so probably won't be chatting much. Okay, Teresa, well, sew away. Yeah, so I don't know, but I talked to her on Tuesday by FaceTime, and my sister was over there on Wednesday, and I told my sister, well, be prepared, and I said, you better prepare William. William's my nephew, her son. She was taking him over too to see his grandmother, and William's like 23 years old, so I mean, we're talking here adult, young adult kind of a thing. But anyways, she says, oh, do you think I should take him? And I said, well, just tell him to expect to see his grandmother in bed. You know, that's about it. But so, yep, when my sister got over there on Wednesday, my mother was in bed, and the same old, same old. So I don't know. Hi, Jacques. I just don't know. I'm taking it one day at a time. I worry all the time. So this week I go over. My sister does the FaceTime thing. So we go over on Tuesday. I expect to see her in bed.
Too, right?
Walter gets to come too. Well, it's your mother-in-law. For goodness sakes. I mean, really.
Well, you never came over when...
I did. I came over on occasion.
Yeah, on occasion.
Well, that was a different thing.
Because my mom was in the nursing home.
Well, your mother was talking in Dutch all the time. I didn't know I understand a word, so whatever. I need somebody to drive me. You're driving Miss Daisy. But anyway, so I don't know. We'll see when we're over there what's going on. Okay,
Hi,
Jackie. We'll call you Jackie. Because that's easier. So are you French, Jackie? Background? Oh, hello, Marilyn. Anyways, yeah, my mother is what she is. I am though a little concerned about this outbreak of the food poisoning because now it makes me wonder, is there a possibility? Walter says that they don't cook the food there, they just heat it up.
I'm not 100% sure,
No.
but I think that's what's happening. I think there was some issues when they were going to that they weren't necessarily transporting over the culinary staff because they were getting pre-made foods. Whereas I guess a lot of the government-run nursing homes have pre-made food. So I don't know. I think it's supposedly to be consistent, supposedly, but if the stuff isn't being heated properly, then
Well, if they have my mother on a minced diet, is that already pre-made, or are they taking the stuff that's pre-made and then they chop it up?
They may chop it up.
Because that can transmit
Yeah.
if it's not handled properly for that. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to do some more
Full
exploring.
name's Jacqueline, so.
Oh, okay. Got
So
it.
are you Dutch? Well, I have a cousin whose name is Jacqueline.
Yeah. Hi, Patsy. Hi, Marlene. Yep, so anyways, that's about all there is to say about my mother, because there isn't much I can do about it, and we just hope for the best. Okay, let's move on. What's Walter working on? I got the hiccups.
I don't know. I still have to finish my jacket. I haven't done a lot of sewing this week, so.
Well, you were doing something upstairs there beforehand. That was in
yeah,
preparation?
Hmm?
Was that in preparation for your class tomorrow?
Yeah, I
night?
have a class tomorrow, so I had to still print off the pattern, and I was taping it all together, and I got to cut it out later, and I got to cut out my fabric for tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
It shouldn't be too hard because it's they call it a tunic. It's like I don't know if you want to look at an East Indian kind of tunic. It's sort of like, I don't know. I'm not crazy about this project because it's not really my style of shirt to wear, but I'm doing it anyways. I figure I can always learn something new.
Yeah, probably. But, and then Brendan, your teacher, he's got that special thing coming up. When's that, October? With
with Ron
Collins.
Collins. That's in October. And then there's Brendan is having his
your little barbecue
on Thursday, I think.
Oh, yeah. Was that this Thursday coming up?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, I guess this is the 8th. You said it was the 12th?
I think.
Okay,
yeah.
so that would be Thursday.
My sewing teacher's having a appreciation barbecue for all the group that's been coming to the classes. So,
of course, spouses aren't invited. Fine. I'm not upset. I'll just suck on something moldy out of the fridge for dinner. Of course, it's kind of like every time. Hi, Johan. Hi, Billy. Well, that's okay, Billy. You know, I know you're having a rough time with your husband right now, so hope he's better. I don't know what to say about that, because I know it's pretty serious. So I was just reading what everybody's saying here. Okay, I think I'm caught up. So that's about it. You've got nothing to show.
no, I don't have anything to show today.
Okay, fine. I have a few things to show. So I've been working on, not done yet, but working on my Christmas table toppers that I'm going to give as gifts. This is the one, I think I showed this one to you before. This one is completely done. It's all sewn, the backing's on, and I've quilted it and everything. Just simple walking foot quilting on something like this. And I think I echoed around the embroidery, and I did. So that's one design, and I have 4 of these to make, well, 3 more to make of those. They have different gnomes in each one. And then my other design is the same pattern but different fabric, different embroidery, and this one is not finished yet. But I'm making 4 of these. So I just got the piecing all done this afternoon. Now I've got to start doing the layering it and quilting it and whatnot, which doesn't take very long when they're this small. And as I said, now I may have to make a couple of extra because I got to figure out who's all working at, where I'm giving those to, without giving away too much about it. So I make sure I cover everybody. And I've been making did another pin cushion because I intend to give some of these ones that I like the best. I keep trying. This one I think turned out pretty neat. Little pot. This is done in rainbow filament. So I'm happy with the way that turned out. We'll see. And I'm also starting some other Christmas things. I was just experimenting. I really wish there was a way I could make Santa into a pin cushion. But I have to chop off his head. And I don't know how to do that. And that would not be kind of a nice thing. But I think they're kind of cute.
Can't you make a little bowl and stick it on his head or something?
You probably could. But I think it would take away from him. Yeah. So, I don't know. Anyways, and I'm still working on my Tudor Village. I think I showed you this one on a vlog. It's painted. This is 3D printed. These take a while. So this is a little cottage one. And then I just got this one finished. This one took quite a long time.
You painted them, right?
Yeah, I painted them. Yeah, and so there's this one, this style. And when I paint them, I try to use different, like some dry brushing techniques and things to make them look weathered and aged as well. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I'm making a whole bloody village, maybe.
So somebody said make his bag hollow.
Make his bag hollow, yeah. Well, that's my problem. This is not my design. Well, I don't know how to design them, quite frankly. I've played a little bit, but I can't do something like this. Although apparently what they sometimes do is they take objects and they can scan them, and then there are programs out there that can turn them into 3D models, and then you have to do a little tweaking on them. I haven't really explored that. I should do that.
Put a little dish in front of him.
Well, I thought of that. I could do the thing with the little, around it, but I have to see. I have to decide what I want to do.
Put Santa in front of the toilet and put Ben.
Santa's throwing up. Oh.
No, the toilet. The toilet one that you put him in front of the toilet. He's going having a pee in.
No. Yeah, okay, I want it nice ones. I don't know. Some people's sense of humor may not like that kind of thing. So, no. Yeah, Jackie, well, actually, I've been scouring, the internet, and there's one site for 3D, what they call the models, called Thingiverse, which has tens of thousands, literally tens of thousands, that people put up. They're free. You download them, you print them out, you do to them whatever you want to do to them. But I have yet to find a Santa that, well, is a pincushion. So, I don't know. Well, that sounds disgusting, Marilyn.
It doesn't have a very big bag.
Okay, this went downhill really quickly.
Wendy was asking about the lady that had the son that was missing. It's back up at the top there, but it's out of the view right now.
Yeah, that was.
Can't remember who that was.
That was Teresa, wasn't it? One of the Teresas.
The son was found.
Yeah.
The next day, so everything's good, sort of.
Yeah. Well, from what we know so far, is she on here?
I don't know. I don't think so because she would have answered, right?
Yeah, I guess she would have. Yes. Anyways, yeah. So that's what I've been working on. But only I can do this. So guess where my embroidery machine is? Yeah, it's at Ultimate Sewing. I took it in at the end of this past week. Had a little accident with it. Yeah, that I did, Patsy. That I did look for a Santa flower pot, and I didn't find anything that would work on there. But I mean, I'll still hunt around. Who knows? There's probably something out there. But yeah, so I was doing some embroidery. Actually, I was making some quilt labels actually for my quilts. And my thread broke. That's not unusual. So yeah, I went ahead and re-threaded my machine, get it going. And suddenly I looked over and saw 2 strands of thread on. I was using my threading stand, and it'll hold 5 spools of thread. were being sucked down inside the machine, but through the bobbin winder hole. I never even used the bobbin winder on my embroidery machine to start with, but a freak accident. How could they get sucked down there? Because they're not even, like, that mechanism has nothing to do with the embroidery process. The only thing I could think of is I had a strand of my first spool of thread. I was working with my second spool of thread, so they sit side by side on the stand, and I had the thread from the one that wasn't being used just hanging over the edge, and I think when my thread broke, that whiplashed, it picked up somehow that strand from that one, and then there must have been excess thread I didn't notice, and it went down the hole. Well, so what happened was it's wound around the mechanism inside the machine that allows you to turn the flywheel, and now the flywheel, well, basically
somewhat seized.
It's somewhat seized.
Yeah, and I looked at how to take the sewing machine apart to get at that spot. Well, to get at that spot, you have to pretty much disassemble the entire sewing machine to get to that spot. And since his embroidery machine's only a few months old, I didn't really want to venture into trying to take it all apart to find the problem. So.
Yeah, we best thought maybe let the professionals do it.
Let somebody that really knows what they're doing do it.
So I wrote to Shirley an email, and I said, okay, Shirley, you're going to laugh at me and call me stupid. But I told her essentially what I just told you about what happened. And I said, so I'm going to bring it in, and I might as well get it cleaned and tuned up too all at the same time. So we took it in on Friday afternoon, and yeah, Shirley's kind of scratching her head like, how could you possibly have done that? I like to do the impossible. That's all I can say. If it's going to happen, it'll happen to me, and it'll always be a freak thing.
So Teresa says you have a puka in your house.
Yeah, probably.
So is that like a poltergeist?
Yeah, well, we have other things in our
We
house.
had things pop off the what do you call it? You remember you were in the sewing room and all of a sudden something popped off the board?
Yesterday when we were doing So Chatty, suddenly a couple of patterns just decided to pop off. So, yeah, who knows? So anyways.
Patsy, it's a Janome 550E.
Yeah.
It's a brand new machine, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. I've had it.
Couple of months.
Yeah, a couple of months. But it's totally my fault. It's not the fault of the machine. It's a freak thing. Who would have thought? Yeah. Oh, okay, Jackie. What kind of machine do you have if you need a case of bobbin cases? Because, yeah, I used to have a 15,000 Janome, and anybody that's been on here regular knows the song and story and tales of woe about that machine, which I no longer have, which was a combination embroidery sewing machine, and I had nothing but problems with it, to the point where I finally took it back to the dealer and said, okay, I want to trade this in. What kind of deal will you make? I want an M7, Janome M7 sewing machine, and I want a 550E embroidery machine. So actually she made a really good deal with me. Baby lock. I don't know much about those because they're not that readily available here in Canada. Some places have them, but our local dealer is a Janome dealer, so that's why I have Janome. But anyways, yeah. Yes, I did, Patsy. And she gave me a really good
Well, what happened was originally, I don't know if you were on here before, he had a lot of problems with his original model. Mm-hmm. And to the point where they really couldn't figure out how to fix it.
They even sent it to Janome, and Janome sent it back, said it was fixed, and it wasn't.
So the store owner gave Steve her current floor model, which was pretty much brand new, 15,000. And he had that for a while. But then all of a sudden something happened where you needed the timing fixed.
Yeah.
Right? And then once the timing was fixed, it's like, once the timing gets touched, it seems like it throws off the embroidery part. And it just, all of a sudden the embroidery stopped working properly on it.
Yeah.
He just had it with it at that point in time. He went back to Shirley and said, I want the
M7 and the 550E. What can you do for me? She did good. $5,000 is what I paid. So
in
with
addition
the
to the trade, yeah.
Yeah, the trade, which is pretty good because the 550E is a $3,000 machine.
It's a $3,000 machine, and the M7 is
$8,000.
I think the retail is $6,500. I think you can get it for $6,500,
yeah.
But you still have to pay tax. The $5,000 included tax. So
yeah, Patsy. Here's what I don't want you to say now. Don't say, and I've never had a bit of trouble with it. I've had other people tell me that too, and that's good. I'm glad yours is working fine. I am a power user. I use my 15,000 daily. I do a lot of embroidery. I do a lot of very sophisticated embroidery too. I do, in the hoop stuff and all that kind of stuff. But I am not abusive with the machine. But nope. And then when you have...
It seems to happen right after the timing gets knocked out.
Yeah.
As soon as the timing gets knocked out, then they have to adjust the timing back. And it's like it throws off the embroidery part. Like you get the sewing parts working okay, and then all of a sudden the embroidery's not working. Yep. And then they try and fix the embroidery, and then the sewing machine stops working.
So my conclusion is this. Is from my experience for myself, I will never buy a combination machine again. If you're meant to sew, use a sewing machine. If you're meant to embroider, use an embroidery machine. I think it solves a lot of problems. The other thing too, I really liked when I first got the 15,000. I loved that machine. It was my dream machine. But when I'm embroidering with it, I can't sew, obviously, at the same time. So now it's nice when you have the 550E, it can be doing an embroidery thing and I can be doing some sewing on the other machine. And so, yeah. And right now, because the embroidery machine's in the shop for repair, it doesn't stop me from sewing. So, because I've got, of course I have several machines, but...
Oh yeah, I have, Jackie, I have a 550E, and so does Steven. And it actually works pretty good. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, the 550E is a fairly reliable machine. This problem I'm having right now has nothing to do with the machine. It's all on me.
It was a freak
accident.
And but other than that, I mean, it sews perfectly and everything. It doesn't sew. It only does embroidery.
Yeah.
So like you can't sew. It doesn't do straight stitches or something like that. You have to. Well, it only does embroidery. But it has decent sized hoops. It comes with. I think the largest hoop is 7.9 inches by 14 inches, and that's the biggest hoop, and it goes all the way down from there. So, so it comes with a 7.9 by 14, a 7.9 by 7.9, and a 7.9 by 5.5, I think, and then a 5.5 square hoop.
Don't ask me. I don't have these memorized.
Oh, okay.
You have them all memorized, the whole bit. He should have been a sewing machine salesman because crepes. He knows everything about all the different machines in the Janome line. He looks at one machine and goes, yeah, that's the blah, 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 and it does
I mean, I can go in there and go into the Janome store and tell them more about the machines than they can tell me.
So I'm just catching up here. Kathleen says, I think there's just a problem with Janome combo machines. That's what I have, and I just can't use the embroidery anymore. Bobbin case issues there too. Yep. And and Kathleen, do you have a 15,000 or do you have one of the other machine, like a S9, or what was the other one that was a combo that had smaller hoops at one time?
There's an S9.
Well, there's a 14,000.
There's I think a 9800 or something that has a small hoop as well.
Yeah, I think they tried to pack too many things into one machine, and so the more you've got in there, the more the problems. And bobbin case issues, oh yeah, I probably spent $500 to $600 on replacing bobbin cases when I had the 15,000. Yeah. Teresa says, I think you have gremlins in your basement that throw machines around when you're not there.
Patsy, I'm not sure what you mean by, however, 8 have heard it's will be an M7.
I've heard, I think she meant it. I've heard it will be an M7 with embroidery in it.
Oh, you mean a new
version of it?
I'd be careful. I don't know.
I like I just said. For me, no. I would not get a combination machine again.
I mean, the one benefit of having two machines, right? Yeah, I don't really want that. Yeah, I'd have to kill people in there.
She'd hire him.
I don't know if she would hire me.
She offered me a job 3 times.
She never offered me a job. She probably because I'd scared too many people away.
Well, I have a feeling she wanted somebody to do that. I think that's why she wanted to hire me, because that day that when we were in there looking at machines when we first met Shirley and I got into quilting, that one woman that you knew that was monopolizing the conversation while Shirley was trying to tell me about the machine and everything, this woman just butt right in, and somebody Walter used to work with. I just turned around and said to her, okay, pardon you, I'm busy right now talking to her. She's dealing with me. She can deal with you later. And then right after that, I got offered a job.
Yeah, Kathleen Davis, so that was MC 9900. Yeah, okay, I'm not that familiar with that one.
You're not?
No.
Oh my God.
There's a couple of the machines that I'm not that familiar with, but
I'm surprised with it. I do love, though, Patsy, I do love my M7. It was a good choice of a machine. I was debating on getting the M7 or getting the 9450, which is also a good machine. I had seen the M7, they call it the Quilter's machine, when they first brought it out, and Shirley was showing it to me, and at that point I wasn't in the market for it. But I saw it had this stuff on it, which was, I thought, well, like, supposedly to help you piece a quilt together, it has pre-programmed into it basically instructions on how to do a basic blocks. In fact, I've never used that feature because...
Well, actually, he wanted to get the 9450, which is almost like the 15,000 minus the embroidery functions, right? And the throat isn't quite as big. But he does a lot of quilts, and I said, why don't you get an M7, because the M7 has a really deep throat on it.
I think it has the largest one.
It has the largest throat. I think it's 13 inches.
Yeah.
And it'll help. It'll be easier for you to do,
for quilting.
Doing quilting on
getting
it.
The bulk underneath
and
the
getting
throat.
the bulk underneath the throat. So that's why you ended up getting. And I think that was a good choice, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I'm really happy with the M7. It's been a great machine. Ask Shirley if she needs part of the... Johan says, have you guys ever used green screen in your videos? Not on YouTube. To do YouTube live is it's not as direct as doing, like, say, a Zoom. Now, I've used virtual backgrounds with Zoom. We use OBS, which is the platform that connects into YouTube for streaming. So right now we have 3 screens open. Real time for us is below us on the laptop. Above on the big screen that sits above my laptop is the YouTube screen. And there's a delay between those two. And then on my iPad over this side, it's showing me exactly what you are seeing when you see it.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird because I'll be talking down here and I can see me talking live first thing. Then I go up here and there's a delay in what I'm saying, and then over there's even a further delay. So it seems to be a little weird.
Yeah. So no, I've never. There's a lot of things you can do with OBS, and yes, you can do green screens with OBS. But I don't bother because, again, when you start using green screens and stuff like that in a live, you're using up a lot of bandwidth, although we're going to talk about that in a moment. And we used to do our lives up in the kitchen. Those of you that have been with us for a long time know that we used to do them from the kitchen, and I used to do them using my iPhone. But we were running into buffering issues and things like that. And I can do more with OBS, and you've seen that. Like if I want to switch you over and show you like a web page or something like that, or some pictures in that, I know how to do that. But there's a whole lot of things that OBS does, and I just have not learned them all. It's on a need-to-know basis, I guess.
Yeah, Jackie, I don't know your question. iOS.
Yeah.
Is it for free motion? I thought iOS was an Apple product.
Yeah, that's a Mac operating system, isn't it?
Yeah.
How not iOS? Okay, Jackie, you're going to have to explain for us because we don't understand what you're asking. Um, and Marlene says, just bought a Juki as my go-to class machine. What a powerful little machine with full-size decorative stitches. Love it. Okay, when you say full-size decorative stitches, Marlene, what do you mean by that? Are they like really big? There's a, I think it's a Bernina machine or something, or it might be a Fath, that has huge, you can blow the decorative, yeah, you can blow the decorative stitches up really big and actually use them for quilting, which would be kind of nice. How is the M7 for free motion quilting? It's great, Jackie.
It has a large throat space. It has a 13-inch throat space. So, and the only thing about the M7 is it's a very heavy machine.
Yeah, the M7 is not a machine for transporting to retreats or to classes. I think it weighs 38 pounds, something like that. It is it's a very large machine. In fact, it has a carry handle on it, but they don't recommend you carry it by the handle. They've got cutouts underneath, like on the table at the bottom of it, and they suggest you pick it up if you're moving it from one spot to another, that you pick it up from that. And it is a heavy machine. Oh,
okay, it's Bernina that has sideways
stitching. So maybe it's the Bernina then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sideways stitching. So you can get your decorative stitches can be what? 9 millimeters or 15 millimeters. I think it's 15 millimeters wide, which I think that's got a lot of potential for when you're doing your quilting. But I find that the free motion quilting works very well on the M7. It's very easy to get things under the throat, and depending on what your setup is as far as how you spread your quilt out, like I have now figured out how to set up what I call my quilting setup. I don't do that where my sewing machine is usually located. I do it, and if you've seen The Idiot Quilter, I've actually shown a little video of my setup. It's a series of folding tables, and just recently on my last quilt, I figured out with the folding tables that I have, and I have a lot of different folding tables, that I was able to lower one folding table down enough, because it was adjustable, that with the sewing machine sitting on it, it was level with the other tables around it. So it's almost like I had, dropped a sewing machine that's dropped down into, a customized case, and that made things even easier because I wasn't catching the edges of the quilt on my extended table. So yeah, I have to set it up every time that I do that. That's a bit of a pain in the ass, but I always have to set those tables up too when I'm layering the quilt, because I don't do it on the floor because I can get down and can't get back up again. And I've got it down now so that it's working out pretty well for me. Where people...
Yeah, Janome has for decorative stitches. Almost all of their upper end machines are 9 millimeters wide, and some of the starter machines are either 5 or 7 millimeters wide. So your decorative stitches can't be any bigger than, if you have a decent machine, 9 millimeters wide. So it's not real wide, but there are more and more machines coming out where there have some abilities of making wider decorative stitches.
Yeah. Jackie says she has a Singer featherweight for classes made in 1952.
Yeah, but she's looking at the M7, so she also says that if she wants, she can take her Singer for classes.
Well, yeah, I know. But what I was just going to say about featherweights, that seems to be very popular. People want the old featherweight sewing machines. They're just a straight stitch sewing machine, and I don't get it. I like one with a computer on it. I like all the buzzers and bells. But people just swear by them. They love them. There's such a market out there for old featherweights. Is the Juki Korean?
I'm not sure where it's made. I mean, you really can't necessarily look at where the machines are made nowadays, because like even Janome is made all over the place. Like I think some are made in Mexico and some are made in different parts of Asia. As long as they're being manufactured in a location that's overseen by the manufacturer has the standards of the manufacturer,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be a problem.
Marilyn says she believes the sideways sewing can go up to 40 millimeters.
Okay, that's a possibility.
Wow. Wow, think of what you can do with that when it comes to actual quilting.
It's sort of like embroidery in without a hoop type of thing.
Without a hoop.
Yeah.
You know, the more and more that I hear about Berninas, the more and more I'm getting interested in them. But I don't have a Bernina deal. Well, actually, there is. Isn't that guy? Larry's there, yeah. Hi, Carol. When you're quilt piecing, all you need is a straight stitch. Yeah, exactly. I know. Yep. And that's why people like the featherweights, because they're light. You take them, there's not a major setup on them, and away you go. In Switzerland, Elna's in Switzerland.
Yeah, but the new Elnas are made by Janome. The old Elnas are made in Switzerland, but the new Elnas are made by Janome, and they're made all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, the old Elna, the original Elna, was a Swiss company.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and Janome bought them out.
Teresa says the old singers that have the side loading bobbin, like the featherweight and the 301, sew a really nice straight stitch if you're just piecing. They're nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I wonder why. I know why they would go for a top loading bobbin, because of, you can see the bobbin and when it's running out of thread and everything. But for what I understand, I always thought that the side loading bobbin was probably more reliable.
Yeah.
But it's just my guess.
Well, I'm thinking how the thread was pulling at the bobbin case on the 15,000 and ripping it out of the machine. I would think that if you had a problem with the ones that are side loaded because they're in the little capsule or whatever that is, the steel thing, I don't think you'd have that problem.
Because if you have that, if you go to an APQS machine, which is a long arm machine, they all take the side loading bobbin, the old style bobbin.
Yeah.
And even if you go to the bottom of the line Janome, the $299 model, it has the old side loading bobbin. And to me, my way of thinking is that I'm not a mechanical engineer or anything, but the bobbins that are top loading, they have to pull the thread out from the side, whereas the other ones are vertical and they pull them up. So to me, it would seem that it would make more sense.
Yeah. I don't know. These are things you don't know when you buy a sewing machine for the first time. This is all stuff we're learning as, we buy more machines. I would be tempted
I think
to buy a featherweight.
The older machines are actually probably very well made, because that was in the days where that was before the electronics were put in the machines, and they were more mechanical, probably better quality made. I
had an opportunity to have my mother's old treadle Singer machine. It had a cabinet and the whole bit, it wasn't a portable, it was a treadle and the whole bit, and it still worked. But the one problem with it was the cast iron leg on the table had broken. My father had sort of propped it up on something years ago, but they never actually ever got that really fixed. And when my father passed away, my mother sold the house and I was cleaning out her house and everything, I junked it. Well, actually, there was a guy in my mother's neighborhood that was sort of a junk dealer, and we had a lot of junk to get rid of. So in my father's garage especially, there was a lot of metal in there. And he said he would go through it and take, a lot of it away and whatnot. And I just wanted it out of there. And he was doing it for nothing. And I figured, well, that guy didn't pan out. But the one thing he did get, he got the old Singer machine. And that was before I ever came close to quilting. Didn't have any desire to quilt or to sew or anything. My sister didn't want the machine, and I kick myself for that now, because I could have gotten that machine reconditioned. It was still working. It was fine, and it was over 100 years old, the machine. So yeah. My old Pfaff is made in Germany, and my Singer has the most beautiful stitch. Yeah. Well, I like my M7. As far as I'm concerned, it stitches very nicely, very straight.
I have a 6700 Janome, and it stitches very well as well.
Yeah. Well, I was impressed with the 6700 when I bought it. It was my first machine, and then when Walter started to get into sewing and I moved on to other sewing machines, he got that one, and you've used it constantly, and no problems. It's a good machine. But anyway, so, yeah, who knows? We could talk all day about this, and we do on So Chatty. There's a link in that. So, we've had some fun. We have bats. Now, this isn't unusual because we live on a forested area and there's lots of little brown bats. And they're out there at nighttime in the summer. They're eating the mosquitoes and everything like that. And that's fine. But, well,
once in a while what happens is we have a deck that's about 12 feet off the ground. And then we also have a sitting area underneath it. And sometimes it's sort of partially screened in. And it sounds weird, but it does keep the bugs out. And we like to sit there sometimes in the summertime.
At night?
At night. So, or early evening. So in the past, we've had a couple of incidents where we were a little bit not careful when we walked in the house. And
left the door open a little bit,
a little too long,
sliding glass
and we've
door.
had the odd bat in the house, right? But this past Wednesday,
yeah, we had more than one. We've got, well, the first bat, I said to Walter, I heard something.
Well, that same night, I go usually to bed later than Stephen does, and
much later.
And I went to our ensuite bathroom. And all of a sudden, there's this bat flying around there. So,
well, he screams like he goes, "Ah!"
Yeah, well, shocks me.
And I was asleep, sort of. And
immediately, what I did, and then when it was in the bathroom, is I shut the bathroom door so both he and I, or the bat and I, were in the bathroom together. And I went. We have a window in that bathroom, and I went and opened the window. And usually, the bat will realize the window is open and fly out. Yeah, which it did.
Yeah.
Right. So because we've had a bat before.
But he was sitting in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And he left a little deposit.
Yeah. So anyway, so
oh my God, Batman, that's bat shit.
Yeah. So then see, we decided to go away for a day. We went to Niagara region.
Yeah, we're coming to that.
Right. And so anyway, so we went away for the day, and we came back on Friday. We went overnight on Thursday, and we came back on Friday. And then Friday night, I was up late like I normally am, and I went to use the main bathroom, which doesn't have a window in it.
And suddenly,
there's a bat floating around in the toilet.
He looked like he was dead.
I poked him, and he looked like he was dead. So Steve said,
like he was face down, he was drowned. So I said, well,
I didn't want to fish him out.
No,
so we
flushed him.
The only thing I was worried about is that he would clog up the toilet.
Well, the reason I told Walter to flush him is because back when I was a kid, I lived in a small little town, and we lived in a 100-year-old farmhouse. And there were a lot of huge old trees that overhung the house and the property. In the summer, there were lots of little brown bats in those trees doing what little brown bats do, eating mosquitoes. And they'd get into my parents' house. Now, the first time a bat got in my parents' house, my mother sort of semi-woke up, I guess, and it was in their bedroom, and it was flapping around. And she said to my father, Lyle, wake up. There's a bird in here. And then it swooped down, I guess, a little bit. And my mom, oh my God, it's a bat. And she was under the covers, and my father was under the covers. Of course, we kids, I don't know, we all slept through that. But, so of course my mother said to my father, well, get out and do something about it. My father, well, what am I supposed to do about it? So they had a little storage closet off the side of their bedroom. And in there was my mother's old tennis racket that she had when she was a teenager kind of thing. So my father grabbed it, and the bat flew around the room, and because it didn't want to be there any more than they wanted it to be there, right? But they had never experienced this before. So my dad lobbed at it with the tennis racket, and it killed him. My father didn't really intend to kill him, but it comes down and it's like it's swooping at you, because they can be little creepy things. And so he got it, nailed it. Well, then they had to figure out what they were going to do with it. Well, it was the middle of the night. My father, I guess, just kind of picked it up by the wing and went in and flushed it. Well, you see, they're like mice. They don't have any really hard bones. They have cartilage. So, like mice and bats, same grouping kind of a thing, they can flatten themselves right down. And I have read that a bat can flatten itself down and get underneath as little as 1/4 of an inch.
It said 3/8 of an inch.
3/8 of an inch? Okay, so if you're doing sewing with garments, it's 3/8 of an inch, but if you're quilter, it's 1/4. So.
Anyway, so I poked at it in the toilet.
And he didn't move.
And I said, okay, he must be dead, right? So we flushed him.
Well, flush him.
And then as he was going around in the flush, he sort of came to life.
Well, did he, or was it just the turbulence of the water?
No, he was fluttering in there.
Oh, well, we felt really bad
about
that, because we kind of gave him a burial at sea when he wasn't really dead.
Because, I mean, technically you're not supposed to kill bats.
No, they're protected.
They're protected in Canada. Because they have, there's something they're somewhat endangered, so,
yeah.
And they're good to have because they eat all the bugs, right? So,
yeah, so, anyways, we felt bad about that, but I don't want a bat in my house.
Okay, that was bat number 2.
Yeah.
Right? So then,
last night.
That was bat number 2. So then, last night, I figured there was no more bats, because the most we ever had in our house
was 2. We've had 2 at the same time before.
So I said, okay, and he's in bed going, I hear something, and I'm going, you're just hearing stuff, right? And well, I go to bed, but I decide I go to the bathroom, the bathroom that doesn't have the window in it,
and then it goes,
and I open the door, and I go, eek. There's one flopping around in the bathtub. In there, right? And so I go, oh shit, we have another one, right? So anyway, I shut the bathroom door.
We ushered him into
I shut the bathroom door, and he was flying around in the bathroom. And then we were trying to figure out what to do with him, because he's in the bathroom, and there's no window in there.
In that particular bathroom, that one's an internal.
Yeah, so we closed all the other rooms off, and we had to have an open hallway, and we opened the door to one of the spare rooms, and I opened the window in that spare room, and we kind of got him to fly into that room, and I shut the door. And he was flying around in a circle, and then I thought, well, maybe if I turn on the light, he'll go to the dark area. But he kept flying around in a circle, and I didn't know what to do. Every time I opened the door, he was still flying.
So he's in the room though with the door shut, and I can't see what's going on, but I can hear him. He's going, "Come on, buddy, the window's over this way."
No. What happened was I put on a baseball cap, and I put on a jacket, and I went into the room, and he's flying around, and I'm trying to usher him into where the window is, but he wouldn't go. He landed on the wall. He landed on me a couple of times, and on my arm where my coat was, because I guess I had a black coat on, so maybe he thought. Anyway, so I think it was a young one. So I kept trying to get him out there, but I couldn't get him out there. And then we had a curtain on that window that was sort of like a draped curtain. So he went up into the curtain. So I pulled the curtain off the window. And anyway, he got trapped in the curtain, and I dumped out we had a Kirkland box of
coffee pods.
Coffee pods. I dumped all the coffee pods on the bed, and I put the box over top of the curtain. Well, it was squeaking away. I don't know if I got him sort of trapped in there. But anyway, I somehow got him into the box and closed the box off. I'm still not sure how I did that. But he was stuck in the box. He was bouncing around in the box.
What you got in the box?
And so I took him out the front door and just heaved him up in the air, and off he went.
So we've been doing a lot of reading about bats. Well, we knew a lot about them to start with, but now But I'm now paranoid.
I hope that was the last one.
Because I did not sleep. Every noise I heard last night, whatever it was, the house creaking, the refrigerator starting and stopping, whatever, I'm there. Like, is there a bat? Is there a bat? And then there were times that you were snoring away and you were making little moist sounds, and I think, is that a bat? No, it's Walter.
Well, I went into the room with them. I'm not that freaked out with them.
They will not hurt you. I mean, they could bite you if you were like to grab them. So
actually, the little brown bats are thought to be. It's very unlikely they have rabies. So because they only eat bugs. So,
but yes, Judith, bats are endangered.
Yeah,
and we didn't intend to give that one the watery death that he had.
We thought he was dead.
We thought he was dead.
Yeah, otherwise I would have tried to fish him out.
Yeah.
But he was, I thought he was dead. So otherwise I wouldn't have flushed him. But and I was trying to get, I wasn't trying to kill the one last night. I was just trying to get him
just
to fly
catch
out.
him and get him to go out the window. Because they say what to do is open up some doors and windows and they'll,
Well, most of the time when we've had bats in the past, all we did have to do was open a door or window when they would fly
and
out.
they'd go right out.
Well, this one last night, I think it was confused or something.
Well, we also think he might have been a young one. Because we did read that right now, they have their babies between, May and August?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
No, June and August.
Or June and
August, yeah.
June and August. And they did say that young bats may have, if you've got one in the house, they might have difficulty finding their way out with, even though you have a window or a door open. So, I don't know. But I'm not that afraid of them, but the way they swoop in the whole bit, they take you off guard, and they're so fast. They're so fast. So we have a box, we have a piece of cardboard. So tonight, I'm hoping that was just the three of them. They may have been a family group, because they only usually have only one baby, sometimes two, and they stay pretty close to each other. Because we can't think of any other reason why they could got into our house.
Yeah.
Because we don't have any openings that they go into. And apparently what I read today is bats do not, they'll go into an opening and then go into very small ones, but they don't make an opening. Like, it's not like they're rooting around in your brickwork or anything like that. So, and there's no exit spots. If they were in our attic, there's no exit spot for them to come down into the house. So, we don't know. We'll have to see. But anyways, it's just been fun. Hi, Fidel. Fashionably late. Okay, he used to build houses for bats back in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I mean, bat houses, I saw a whole thing about them. Over here, Joanne says, Australia, we have fruit bats. They're quite large, but also very cute.
Yeah,
yes,
we saw
them. We were in Cairns.
And we could see them hanging in the trees in front of us.
And they're huge.
They're massive.
They also call them flying foxes, because they're almost the size of a fox. So they think they're the largest bat in the world.
Yeah.
But they just eat fruit. But at night, at around dusk time, you'd see them. They'd all come out of the trees, and it'd just be like a cloud. And you could time your watch by it. And they'd all go flying around. We'd watch them.
They were huge.
They were huge suckers, yeah. I loved your fruit bats. They seem to like people, too. Yeah, but they're still kind of creepy. I don't know. Like,
well, even the little brown bat was in the house. It was a little bit creepy, but it didn't scare me too much. I mean, I was a little I wasn't really relaxed when I was in the room with him, but I mean, but I didn't. He didn't freak me out or anything.
The thing is, you don't want to like get in there and bash their brains out, and kill them. You want to, get them to go out the window on their own accord or catch them in the whole bit. Plus, in the middle of the night, you don't want anything swooping around.
I mean, we're like 3 o'clock in the morning. And
yeah, like, I don't know. So now I'm a little paranoid about tonight. I won't sleep well. I'll have to drink more. Where are you going?
I'm going to get a beer.
Oh, get me one too, please. So anyways, yeah. It's not our first experience with bats, but they always seem to show up when we're about to go away. I mean, before we went on a major overseas trip back, this is quite a few years ago now, of course, way back in the old pre-COVID days. We were all packed up. We were leaving the next morning to get our flight. And that night, we had 2 bats flying around. And we thought, well, we got to open up something. So this was now, we knew that the trick was to open up a window or a door and kind of hope they found it. Well, these 2 little bats decided to light onto one of our valances over one of our sliding glass doors in the kitchen. And they were so cute. They're sitting there looking at us, right? And we're trying to, okay, guys, front door's open, go this way. And they did eventually go out. So,
well, but those times when we had the bats before, we always seem to have, before we go away
that's
somewhere,
what I just said.
we always seem to go out and sit on the patio.
Yeah, we have to stop doing that. I think we have a bat cave downstairs. But anyway, so I'm hoping that's the end of them.
I went out to look for them today, but I couldn't find any, so I don't know. But they're hard to tell where they are.
No, because they can squeeze up into tiny little, like...
And of course, we were sitting there at dusk when they all come out, so...
Yeah. So, well, we had... what was I going to say about... there was another time we had a bat. I found them. It was the winter. And it was really, really cold outside. And I happened to go over to the patio doors that go out to this patio area that's under the deck that we're talking about, where they hang out. And I looked up, for some reason, by the edge of the valance, which was about this much space from the wall and up in by the ceiling. And there is this little bat hanging there, sleeping. He was hibernating. And I thought, well, this is good. I had no idea how long he'd been there. So I thought, okay, I mean, I don't want to wake him up because he'd probably get really bitchy about that. And, like, excuse me, go out, it's cold. And so I strung a blanket up. I pinned a blanket to the ceiling in front of the doors to keep him contained. And then I opened up the doors and I took a broom handle and I was just going to tap him. And what I figured he'd do is he'd probably unfurl and fly, and because he'd hit the blanket and that, but the door would be right there, he'd fly out. No! The poor little thing dropped like a lead weight from the ceiling to the floor. Good thing it's carpeted. And just boom! And he didn't move, and I thought, oh my God, I think I killed him. Well, then I gave him a little poke, and no, he was still breathing, but he was like, I think he was half in a hibernated state. So I kind of pushed him outside onto the patio, and it was really cold, and I shut the door. And he wasn't really moving, and I thought, oh, this poor little thing, he's going to die out there. But what could I do? I mean, what do you do? So I left, and I said, well, I was hoping that he'd eventually move on. I think the door was partially open. We have a little screen door kind of a thing off from the patio as well. And about an hour later, I came back to check on him. He was gone. He was gone, so he got up and left. But they're kind of spooky, and they're kind of cute, and they do a lot of good. But I just don't want someone swooping around me at night. The only creature in the whole creation that makes me scream like a little girl are spiders.
Well, it depends on how big the spiders are.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of spiders either.
I don't like our house spiders, but they're not like major big. They're not like tarantulas. So.
Well, no. It's not like spiders in Australia. But Angel says, just opt in to say quick hello while killing a little time. Well, hi, Angel. Nice to see you. I know in the
warmer climates you have to put up with a lot bigger things.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm hoping tonight I can sleep. Hello. Hi, Hat Lady. That's Adrian.
Yeah, so hopefully that was the end of it. I'll get a little worried if we have another one.
Yeah, because now it's like, okay, what's the problem? I mean, I think at that point we might actually have to call in some professionals. And heaven only knows what professionals will do, if they'll do anything. Because they can't kill them, and I don't know what I suppose they can inspect our attic and that and say, yeah, you got bats. or
well,
whatever.
Probably before then, I'll go up the attic and have a look. What I can see.
Yeah. Teresa says she had tarantula for years. She finally died when she was about 30. Okay, Teresa.
Was that a pet tarantula?
I'm glad.
Or was
Teresa,
that just a tarantula living in the corner of your kitchen cupboard?
I don't know. Okay. Not really like those kind of things. So anyways, as we said, we had the bat the night before, the first bat number 1. Before we were going the next day, we went on an overnight trip. We decided to go to Welland, Ontario. Now, any of you that might be from the area that probably know where Welland is, but Welland is out near Niagara Falls, so it's only a couple of hours away from us, and it's where the Welland Canal goes through, and it connects Lake Ontario with Lake Erie. It bypasses the falls. That's why it's there. It's been there for over 100 years or longer. Actually, about 150 years, I think. So, but there's nothing in Welland. I mean, it's a one-horse town with a canal, basically. And the next place that's fairly close to it, which is right on Lake Erie, it's only 10 minutes away from Welland, is Port Colborne.
And it's at the mouth of the canal, or
yeah.
the opening of the canal. From Lake Erie.
And so we decided we would go up into that area just as a day trip. Walter found us a hotel in Welland, and
it was actually a really nice hotel.
So. Yeah, it was a really nice hotel.
It was a Best Western, but it was a suites hotel, and it was like mega clean inside. In fact, they had replaced all of their remote controls for the TV sets with ones that you can disinfect, because the buttons were like they didn't have any edges on them where you could have.
They weren't recessed down, or weren't, like, how do you describe that?
Yeah.
They were almost smooth, so you could wipe it down, but we took our Lysol wipes. Walter wiped those all down. But it was a really nice room. It was a suite. We had a living room with a kitchen area in it. It was an efficiency unit sort of a thing. It had a microwave. It had a stove top. It had a little bar fridge, sink, coffee maker, small coffee maker. It had, the bedroom was separate, but it had a television in it, as well as there's a television in the living room. It was a king-size bed. It was very nice, and it only, with tax, it cost us, what, $172 for the night? Which is pretty darn good, because if you got a hotel out here in our area or into Toronto, you're probably, a cheap room is probably $300 a night, if not more. So it was nice. So we went to Port Colborne when we first got there, before we checked in the hotel. Don't recommend it. We went to a little restaurant. We were sitting out. Everything, there's still restrictions on things and how you can do it. But it was nice. We had lunch. Lunch was okay. I did some video of all of this too, which I'm going to show on my vlog tomorrow if you're interested. Then what did we do from that?
Then we drove over to Niagara Falls.
Oh yeah, we drove over to Niagara Falls to see what Niagara Falls is like when there aren't any American tourists, because the border isn't open. And Walter wanted to see this before they open the border, which is tomorrow. They're going to open up the border. And there were still quite a few people there, though. Not as many, though, as other times.
Yeah, I know. There were still quite a few people, but it wasn't busy like it normally is there.
Yeah.
And we didn't really have too much problem finding a parking spot.
No. I mean, we've been to Niagara Falls millions of times over the years. I mean,
so we were only there for about an hour, because we just parked the car, walked. The longest time we were there is walking down to the falls and walking back up the falls. And then we were at the falls for like 15 minutes.
Well, we've seen the falls many times before,
yeah.
So it's not that big a thrill for us. But anyways, we did that. Went back to the hotel. Oh, we did stop on the way before we went to Port Colborne. There's a winery. That whole area is wineries. And there was one that we've been to a long time ago now. Last time. I got the hiccups now. And it's called Herner. And we bought a couple of bottles of wine there. But we just about didn't. Because we get there. There was another car. And that was all that was there. And those people were coming out. And, I don't know. Did they actually get in? Because we went up.
I don't know if they got in. We went up to the door. And the door said it was open.
Yeah.
But then we tried the door and it was locked.
So then we thought, well, are we supposed to knock or
So
something?
tried to knock, but then
And nobody came to the door, so we kind of
started
left
walking away
to the car, and
then
then,
all of a sudden some woman comes out and says, "Oh, did you want to come here?"
well, yeah,
Yeah.
you're a winery. No,
Yeah,
we
well,
just
I
came
guess
here
what
to-
happened is she left her till to look
Yeah.
after somebody else and locked the door because she figured that
Yeah,
she didn't want somebody to
because she
spot
was
it.
working there on her own or something. I think
Yeah, so
they need to have a little doorbell
yeah.
or something if she has to do that on a regular basis or something. But anyways, we went in, we bought her 2 bottles of wine, and that was it. And then we eventually made our way back to the hotel room, checked in. Then we went to Niagara Falls. Then when we came back to the hotel room and sat around for a couple of hours or whatever, and decided to go out to a place called what was it called? Bellies.
Oh, empty belly.
Empty Bellies, but it was MT, like the letter M and the letter T, Bellies, and they had a big patio.
They had a lousy selection though.
But they had a lousy selection of food, and actually the food that I had wasn't lousy, but it was weird. I had a Reuben sandwich. It was huge. I could not finish it, but it was really quite, like the bread was a rye bread, but it was greasy.
Yeah.
And it had a really different taste to it. Not an unpleasant taste. It was just sort of there was a spice or something, whatever, maybe in the kind of rye they used or where it came from. And you had, what did you
I
have?
had the chicken sandwich.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it was sort of a hot chicken sandwich, or not hot,
Spicy?
spicy. And it was like a breaded deep fried one, and it was kind of greasy too. Like, I know deep fried stuff is greasy, but this was like a little bit more greasy than it should be. And it tasted okay, and the chicken was really good. But and then I had a Caesar salad with it.
Yeah, well, I did
And,
too. Caesar salad came with it.
It was okay as well. Like, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't someplace I would run back to.
No, it wasn't. But you know something? We are so out of it when it comes to eating out anymore. Everything gives us sticker shock. I've just become very cheap since COVID.
Well, not only that, I guess I've become so used to making my own food that restaurant food tastes too much like too crappy for me now.
Yeah. But now Walter did make Indian last week during the week one night, and that was fine. It's a recipe I saw on Sorted Food.
That lady was
Oh, you want to get them out if they infest your attic, you'll have to get it re-insulated because of bat. I never say how to say that. Bat shit
guana, bat
is
shit.
is a health hazard. Yeah.
Yeah, we're aware of that.
Yeah.
I don't think they're in our attic.
No.
Because, but I will. I'll have to check that.
No. Teresa says I got Walter's difficulty last time I ate a Reuben. Oh.
Yeah, actually, my difficulty seems to have disappeared again, but it suddenly comes on and then kind of leaves all of a sudden as well. So.
Yeah, well. Johan says, we get spiders as big as your hand here. They're harmless, but we also have small red black spiders in the garden. They can kill you. Yeah, everybody said to us the first time or each time we went to Australia, oh, Australia, you got to watch out. There's a lot of snakes and spiders and they're poisonous and the whole bit. You know, in all 3 times that we've been to Australia, we never saw a spider and we never saw a snake except possibly in a zoo or whatever. So, I mean, I'm sure they're there, but luckily, snakes. I do not like snakes. I can put up with a bat faster than I put up with a snake. Yeah, things of, it's the COVID expense, you know, like, of course, they're all trying to recoup their losses, and they'll be doing that for a long time. So, they're never going to drop their prices. Once they put a price up, have you ever been to some place where suddenly they decide, yeah, we're rolling back our prices, like Walmart? Yeah, no, they don't. I keep hearing little clicks, and that's what I was hearing when I was in bed last night. I'm paranoid now that there's a bat around every corner. But anyways, but it was kind of nice to get away. And on the way home, we stopped at a quilt store. It's actually called the Quilt Store in St. Catharines, which is a town. No, Burlington. Burlington. Burlington's on the other side of the Burlington Bridge, Skyway, which is a bridge that connects our end of Ontario with the Niagara Falls kind of area of Ontario.
Yeah, it bypasses Hamilton, and it's hard to explain. It's at the end of the lake, sort of thing.
Yeah. But anyways, so we went to it. Now, I have dealt with this company before online, and they have 2 stores. They have one in a place that's about an hour away from us, and then they have this one in Burlington, which is a little further. And they have it online, and I've reviewed them online because I have bought stuff from them many times before. But the reason we stopped there is because I don't need any more fabric. I really don't. But there was a line I happened to see when I was checking where they were located in Burlington called Luster. It's a boutique line, and I really liked it. Well, went in, nope, they didn't have it. Well, they had it over at the other store in Newmarket. I mean, I could have ordered it right there online if I'd want to, but I thought, well, no, because that'll rack it up to like several $100s by the time I'm done. So I did buy some fabric when I was in there, though, and Walter did too. And anyways, then we came home and we took the embroidery machine into Shirley. And while I was there, I said to Shirley, by any chance, do you have this line of fabric? And she didn't, but she'd not seen that line. So she immediately looked it up, and I guess she's going to order a bunch of it. But she's asked me what I wanted in this. Well, I said, well, I don't know, because she was trying to figure out, I don't think she wanted to get the whole line. And I said, Shirley, I like it all. So, I like the purpley one, the blue one. It's hard to describe it. It's really neat. I said, so whatever you get in when you get it in, let me know, and I'll be in to get some of it anyways. But, yeah, I don't need more fabric whatsoever. I just organized all my Christmas fabric yesterday. I have a lot of Christmas fabric. But anyways, what are people saying? Yes, things are so expensive I can cook better. Johan says that's true. Only seen a snake here once in 18 years. Okay.
Well, actually, it's funny because
Teresa's had snakes too.
We have a garden snake here, actually, and so far this is the first year we've lived here that I haven't seen it. So I don't know if it's.
Maybe it's dead.
Yeah, maybe
it's dead.
It's just a garden snake. It's what they call a garter snake.
A garter snake.
They're harmless.
They're harmless. Yeah. Anything. So I guess tomorrow the Americans that are double vaxxed and can prove it can come across the border.
Well, no, they can prove it, but they still have to have a PCR test within 72 hours as well.
But they almost didn't, because I guess our guards, were in a legal strike position. They have been for quite a while, and the government has not been dealing with them very well. So they were going to walk out as of midnight Saturday night or Friday night, I don't know, whichever, if they didn't settle anything. But I guess the government in the 11th hour settled with them, so I guess the border can be opened up now but I don't know if we can go across.
No, we can't.
We can't.
The U.S. has extended it to August 21st.
This is so stupid. Here's just another example of our government being stupid. If the Americans haven't opened up the border, we can't go in. Why are we opening up the border to Americans?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
That doesn't make any sense. Our government is buckling under the pressure of the businesses, the border businesses like Niagara Falls that relies upon tourism. I don't know. Teresa says, I have to travel to Peterborough on Thursday. It's only a place in all of Ontario that had an appointment before February for his driver's test. His expires on the end of the month. Took 2 hours online.
Okay, so
I have to travel to Peterborough on Thursday. It's the only place in all Ontario that had an appointment before February for his driver's test. So I'm assuming that's your son, Teresa, that you're talking about.
Yeah, driver's tests are hard to come by these days.
Yeah, they said that they are hiring temporarily, I guess, testers and that, and they're opening up some temporary sites in around Toronto area anyways. But, yeah, well, just another thing that this COVID thing has affected us. So, other things that have happened. We told you last week they had dug up and were replacing the sidewalk in front of our house. Well, they did it, but they left, of course, their orange cones with their, looks like a crime scene, yellow tape all the way around it because there's like big trenches on either side of the new poured sidewalk in our front lawn and in the boulevard as well. And Walter was getting ticked off, wanting to know when they were coming back to fill this in. Well, I checked the cameras. We have some outdoor cameras when we were in Welland, and so I always said, "Oh, good news! They've removed the yellow cones and everything." But I said, "The bad news is it doesn't look like they filled in the holes." So when we came home Friday around noon, they had been there. They had sort of filled in the holes, and you said they put in some.
They put in some grass seed, not like actual grass.
They didn't put any like pieces of sod or anything down. So I mean, our front lawn is not the best, good at times, but and there were a pair of shoes just sitting there, a pair of like running shoes. So what? A worker came and changed his shoes, did the work, and forgot his shoes.
Yeah, basically.
So I don't know. Well, did you?
I took the shoes. I throw them in the garage because they're not sitting on my boulevard.
Well, no.
I don't want them on the boulevard forever.
Well, I would throw them out.
Yeah, well, I think I will.
Yeah, well, but I mean, like, really.
They're old ratty shoes, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's for her son's test, she says. I don't think your border should be open to USA.
No, I mean,
I don't think it should
the
be
USA
either.
If we're not allowed to go to the USA, then the USA shouldn't be allowed to come to Canada. I don't understand that.
But apparently there were signboards and things in certain parts of the northern states or something going on about that our border should be open and all this kind of stuff. I can't really see why a lot of Americans really interested in coming at this point in time to Canada. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, we have a lot of nature. It's beautiful, but that lasts 10 minutes. So, I don't know. But this has been the whole problem, but we're not going to get into it because we do this all the time and we've done it to death, so we'll just move on. So tomorrow we are getting an upgrade to our internet service, supposedly. We now have fiber optical in our subdivision, and we are getting high speed. What is it, 100 gigabytes?
No, it's 1 gig.
Or 1 gig. 1 gig a second download speed, and 750 megabytes a second upload speed. So
well, we'll see
how fast that really goes. I mean, I'll be able to tell if it makes any difference when I upload my videos to YouTube, because an hour video usually takes about 2 hours or so, and we have fairly high speed internet right now. I think we have
50 megs.
50 megs, yeah. So I mean, 1 gig. Wow. That should be like, yeah, we'll see with that.
Yeah, well, we have 50 right now, but half the time it's only at 25, so.
Yeah. So, anyways, we'll see. But they've given us a window of when they're going to come. Between 8 and 12 tomorrow morning. 4-hour window. So, I would be just as happy if they pop right at 8 o'clock. First call of the day, that would be great. And they also say it could take as long as 5 to 6 hours for installation. It's a modem. Well,
I think what they'll have to do is grab the new fiber line from the outside.
Well, if it's already hanging on the side of our house.
And attach it and put the new modem on and make sure it works.
Yeah. So hopefully they don't tell us, or the guy who does this doesn't give us the rigmarole about, you don't need a 3000, use a 2000. Yeah. We had this problem when we upgraded last time.
We had a problem last time where the guy was underhanded that came in and put our service in last time and talked us into keeping the old modem instead of putting in the new modem, because according to him the new modem had problems. But what ended up happening was we figured out later on that he sucked us into keeping the old modem. Yeah. And then he basically took the new modem and sold it on the black market or something. Yeah.
But told Bell that we had the new one.
Yeah, because when we went to get it upgraded or changed or something, Steve said to Bell, it said that we had the updated modem, and he said, no, we don't have the updated modem. And he had to jump through.
Oh, I went through. I was online with Bell and on the phone at the same time for 5 hours.
Yeah, because the other installer that talked us into keeping the old modem had put on our account that we had gotten a new modem.
Yeah. So this guy that comes here this time, if he ever suggests anything like that, I'll be sicking the bat on him.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. But yeah, so we'll see how fast this is, and everything like that. And then I think after that we are finally going to get rid of our landline. We still have a landline, but we use our cell phones all the time. And the only reason I was putting up resistance to that is because I still felt more secure having a landline. But now that I use my cell phone for everything, and that
all the landline does for us, we get crank phone calls.
All we get is scammers calling us, like the duct cleaning and political, what do you call it, surveys, and we get the latest one. Your Visa card has been, there was an unknown charge for $400 from eBay and another charge for $1,500 from Europe or something like this, done in gift cards. And having looked at your records, we know that you do not buy gift cards like that very often. So please call this number, or no, please press 1 if you accept these charges, or press 2 if you don't. And then you get somebody on there, they're just trying to get your information. I like to try to screw the scammers around. But that's all we get on the landline. So why are we keeping it? Because it's expensive. We're paying over 60 some bucks, I think, a month for landline. So yeah, like our telephone service, including our TV and our internet's about $189 a month that we pay. And we have basic on the television because we cut it all back years ago because we don't watch all the fancy channels that we could get.
It sounds like you guys live in the States with all the scammers.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's tons
major
of them here.
Scammers.
Major
time.
Oh yeah, they've got them for everything.
I don't really care if the cell towers go down.
I always keep a landline in case all the cell towers go down. Yeah, well, nobody calls us anyway, so I don't care. Worst comes to worst, I can always do Morse code with smoke signals or something.
The problem is that, the cell towers go down. If your power goes out, he says, oh, your power goes out, your phone will still work, provided you don't have an electronic phone.
Yeah.
If you have an electronic phone, like a rechargeable phone or something, they won't work. You have to have an old dial phone for it to still work. So,
my angel. Yeah, so anyways, I think we will. But I'll wait until we get the internet, because I don't like to give Bell too many things to do at once, because they can royally screw up. Now, they've got ads on TV now talking about how great their service is and everything, because Bell knows that people constantly complain about their service. But I do have to admit, the last 2 times that I had to call Bell, I did get people who knew what they were doing, which was a surprise, because they usually haven't got a clue. The simplest things can be done with the greatest of complexity when it comes to Bell. But we'll see tomorrow with this. So
even their website doesn't work overly well sometimes.
No. Actually, have you gone into your oh no, you use Gmail for I go in every now and then to Simpatico for my email onto the Bell site. It takes it a while to come up. It's kind of slow. I think, maybe that's to get you
I never go into that site.
But anyways, so that's what we have coming up tomorrow. So that means my vlog may be 1 day late. If this guy actually does show up at 8 o'clock, that's usually when I'm making my vlog. So, I can still make it, but I don't want him listening to me. So, so another thing, it looks like our local quilt shop is gearing up to have classes again come September. And you got a call. Because we had classes booked that didn't happen because COVID happened, and so now I think Shirley's trying to get those all rescheduled and whatnot. I had one class, you had
I had only a couple of classes, but one was the embroidery class. The other one was the a bag class, and I had one class left of the bag that I was doing, and I kind of gave up on that bag, so I didn't care about that one.
I don't know if... Well, you haven't decided whether you're taking that class yet, are you?
Well, I said I was contemplating taking the bag class, so I might give her a call this week and say, oh yeah, okay, I'm in for that bag class.
I mean, she doesn't have a very big classroom, but you said she was going to have less people.
Yeah, but I don't know what she means by less people. So
I'm still a little bit, well, you'd still be wearing a mask. And
I mean, the worst thing's worse if I sign up for it and I decide I don't come back. I'll just say, okay, I'm not coming back.
Yeah, yeah.
I've already paid my money.
Yeah, so I'm signed up for a Lone Star class that I really wanted to do, and of course that didn't happen because of COVID. I mean, these are classes we've already paid for them, so. But I mean, I'm not worried about that because Shirley will make good on that. She'll give you a refund. I would just take a store credit. I think it was $65 or something for that class that I signed up for, so I don't know.
Yeah, Jackie, my sister used to work for the phone company for many years. But that doesn't mean I need to keep in the dial phone.
No. Yeah, well, give a dial phone to a kid today. They don't know how to use it. They don't know what that's for. But, yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just time to move to the modern age type of thing.
Yeah.
That's the way I sort of look at it.
Well, speaking of the modern age, there is a show I've been watching on YouTube called The Supermarket. It's out of Britain, and it's about a big supermarket chain there that's been around for 150 years called Sainsbury. And on the episode we watched last night, I guess one of their stores, they were trying out a new system, and they got rid of their checkout people, and they got rid of the kiosk, for self-checking out, and it was all done by your cell phone on an app. And so you just went up and you scanned the barcode for each thing that you got in this. Well, they had a lot of people put up a lot of resistance to using that system and whatnot. But the reason I'm mentioning that is because we went last week over to one of the grocery stores in our area, and they have these shopping carts that the idea is they have a scanner built into them. So you put your stuff in the cart, and as you put it in the cart, you scan the barcode, and you can check out with the cart as well. I don't know if it's attached to your phone, an app, or how that works exactly. We didn't try it that day we were there, but I do want to give it a go and see what it's like because it's new technology. I do kind of hate the self-checking kiosks because for some reason I walk up to one and it looks at me and goes, I'm not going to work for you. I'm going to screw around.
The only problem I have with it is sometimes they're not very friendly in that if you get things like produce or something like that, sometimes it's hard. They've made it hard for you to find the produce.
Yeah.
On the screen, so it's like,
and
they seem to lean towards organic.
Yeah, they seem to default to organic.
It defaults to organic, and finding non-organic seems to be hard to find.
And organic stuff is more twice expensive. The price,
Yeah, it's like it defaults to organic, so when you weigh your cherries, it ends up going to organic, so that they charge you more for them.
Yeah, no, not happening. Jackie says, I have emailed you. Okay. Great, Jackie. I look forward to checking it out. I can't check it out right at the moment, obviously. But
so, yeah, in some ways they make it difficult. And that becomes annoying. I've used self-checkout several times because it's a little easier at times when there's a huge lineup. I can just...
Well, they direct you to that now. Most of them want you to do that. Like Walmart.
Oh, the Walmart's here. There's 5 checkout lanes and 30 self-checkouts or whatever.
Yeah, and they want you to use that because that cuts down on the employees they need to pay if you're doing that. Even Costco now has self-checking.
Well, that I don't mind so much because the problem with Costco is if you've got 1 or 2 items, then at least if you go through self-checkout, it's quick.
It's faster, yeah.
But, I mean... but they don't have a ton of them there.
No. But anyways, it's technology. You have to embrace it or you get old.
Yeah, that's it. Your mother, the
Yep.
big problem with her is she just let all the technology go beyond
Yep.
her, and now she's old. She can't deal
She
with
don't
it.
deal with it. Well, she can't deal with a lot of things. So, anyways, let's get off my mother. So what else to talk about? Oh, we've been watching this new thing on Apple TV. It is a weird show. It's a musical. It's called
Schmigadoon.
Schmigadoon. So the music in it is all sort of based on old musicals. You hear like pieces from like Carousel or Oklahoma or all those old ones like that. And it's basically sort of a comedy. It's kind of weird sounding, but actually I kind of like it.
You know, I'm not a musical fan. I've never been a musical fan of any of the old musicals and stuff like that. But actually, I kind of like it. I don't know why. It's kind of weird.
It's got some big names in it that are performing, and but now we're caught up on it. So now we have to wait
Apple
for
only releases it every week.
every Friday.
It's not like you can binge watch like
No.
Netflix.
I even looked it up on one of my
Yeah.
sources to see, but no, it's not there. It's too new. So we've been watching that, and that's pretty good. And of course, we've been watching Val Helsing on Netflix, which has been around for a while, but I've never watched it before. I think we're into the second season, but there's 5 seasons. I kind of like it. It's vampires.
I
and
didn't
stuff.
like it at first, but I'm getting into it.
Yeah, the characters are getting better and whatnot. It's vampires. Yeah, just what I need to watch before I go to bed at night for bats. Yeah, and everything. So, anyways, what's coming up? Well, the highlight of the
I've
week
got
is
my
getting our
class
new.
tomorrow night.
Oh, you have lots of things this week. You've got your class, and then you've got a barbecue.
Barbecue.
Yeah. I'll just
I'm
sit
social
around.
butterfly.
I'll just find some old dried up thing in the back of the fridge to suck on Thursday night. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, but there's nothing else. Well, we get the new modem.
Yeah, I get new internet service.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can do my class on Monday night.
Yeah. So we'll see. So anyways, well, that's pretty much our time, too. Ooh, we're going overtime here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to say goodbye, everybody, and thanks for joining us this week. And my vlog will come out either tomorrow or Tuesday, and the Idiot Quilter will come out on Tuesday, so Chatty will come out at the end of the week. By the way, I'm still looking for suggestions for So Chatty, if topics that you would like us to explore, and I'm still looking for people to interview as well. Don't be shy. You don't have to be a quilter or a sewer for me to interview you, because I just like to interview people. When's the next so long? Okay, well, there will be Craft and Chat, but that won't happen until September, the first Wednesday in September. Now, I haven't said anything about this because I'm still debating what I'm going to do. And I got to talk it over with Walter, because he usually has good ideas. But you know that I was talking about having a retreat in probably the latter part of September. Again, sort of like what I did in the spring, but I was going to change it. I was maybe going to take a registration fee that was non-refundable, so there were those people who are, not definite on it would think twice. And I would use it to buy prizes and stuff. Now I'm thinking that might get a little complicated with the money, because I'm not a business and collecting that. So what I'm thinking of actually doing is possibly doing it as a retreat, but it'll be absolutely free. You won't have to pre-register for it. You just show up on the day of. And I might do a little icebreaker cocktail party the night before for people who are interested. And I was trying to think if I could do some special, like, mini type tutorials on something, or if I could find some people that would like to speak or give a quilt show, like a trunk show. And I mean people, I don't mean experts, I mean people from the regulars who come on here and on the Idiot Quilter. I don't know. All these ideas are going through my head. So, if you guys have ideas or suggestions for something like that, I'm also was just thinking I'm not doing it. I don't know. it's a lot of work, for one thing, which I don't really mind, but I just don't know. I don't know how much interest there is in it in that way. I'll see. I've got to really sit down maybe this week coming. I'll sit down and brainstorm for ideas about that. Bye, Patsy. Bye, Joan. And yeah, so hi, Chuck. You're late, but thanks. Walter made the shirts. Okay, guys, we got to go because we're running way overtime. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week, if not before. Bye for now.
Yep.
Say goodbye, Walter.
Bye.